2 years old, and it was in probably October, early winter, and Charlotte was 5. And Mama would always go to Jonesboro. Every week she'd go to Jonesboro and spend the whole day. She'd pick up a few groceries and shop around. And she'd catch the bus. Had to walk about a quarter of a mile down the road and catch a bus and ride to Jonesboro. And she had made me a little pink corduroy coat. I can remember that coat. And almost everything we wore was handmade. And I had the little pink coat on because it was cold. And I guess Charlotte was too young to really watch me. Anyway, somewhere or other I got out of the house. And Papa was 5'4", little bitty Irish looking man, but hard of hearing. And he was chopping wood with a double-edged axe, which means it's sharp on both ends. And I walked up behind him just as he swung back. And when he swung back, he felt a thud, and he thought it was one of the dogs, and turned around, it was me. And he had cut me, it almost went into my eye. He had cut me right across the forehead. And a head wound just bleeds like crazy anyway. And it was a pretty severe head wound. So he grabs me up. Never had a car, didn't really have a horse to ride. They just, anywhere they went, they had to catch a bus or have a neighbor take them. So he goes running down our little dirt road to the highway, 167. And just as he's running down the road with me, Mama is getting off of the bus. And she sees us from a distance, and she thinks that he's playing and running with me to come and meet her. And as he gets closer, she sees all the blood. Of course, it was all over him and me. And he didn't even stop to say anything to her. He just kept running down the road. And it was just the coolest thing. There were 3 brothers. Their last name was Fox. And they were all 3 coming home in a taxi cab to surprise their parents. They're coming home from the war. And their parents did not know that they were coming. And they lived in Winfield. And so they're in this taxi cab, and they saw us running, Papa running down the road like that, holding me. And they had the taxi cab stop and pick us up and drive us into Winfield at the little clinic. And there was a Dr. Faith, which I think is just the coolest name for a doctor, Dr. Faith. And he sewed me up and told Papa that he had done all he could do for me, that if I made it through the night, that I'd probably live. And the taxi cab waited all that time and took us back home. And Mama said that for the longest time after that, at night, she would hold me and rock me, and I would just cry, oh my head, oh my head, oh my head. I had a concussion and fractured skull. And they said that they never did tell Papa how really near death I was, and it almost killed me. They just really couldn't believe that I had lived through it. I guess being so young and the bones still being kind of soft and all, you know. And I used to wonder.
Lean closer and show the scar. I can't zoom.
What?
Show the scar.
For the scar? Okay.
You gotta, I can't get closer.
Right across here. With the big mole at the bottom.
So.
And then I got a little addition to it a couple of years ago.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Another axe?
It was a gun this time. These lethal weapons.
It poleaxed.
Tony had talked to me about, you know, if I thought I'd like to go hunting. And as a child, I used to go hunting for birds, and I was a pretty good shot with a rifle. And, yeah, you know, I could do that. And, you know, I'd like to go deer hunting with you. Okay, well, you need to come practice with this gun. So he gets me out there, and he had an old table that we have outside, an old metal table. And so he put the gun up on it, you know, and got it positioned just right and everything, and set up a target out in the distance. And I'd never really shot a gun like that before. So he, you know, he says, now, you know, you hold it here, and, you know, the trigger's here, and you hold it. Well, he did not say, hold it. He didn't emphasize, hold it. So I'm just kind of letting it rest in my hand, you know, just, I'm thinking, you know, just to secure it, to keep it from wobbling around. I didn't know that I was supposed to hold onto that gun. So I shot, and that came back and hit me in the head, and of course it bled. Tony about panicked, and you know, immediately we put a rag up there and I put pressure on it, and oh, let's go to the doctor, let's go to the doctor. You know, he thought I was going to need stitches, and it was just blood everywhere.
I
And
know y'all was gonna blame me for that.
before we got to Jonesboro, I finally had the nerve to take the rag off and looked, and the bleeding had pretty much stopped. I said, I don't think I need to go get stitches in this. So we go to the drugstore and paid $8 for some butterfly bandages. And so now I have, at the end of my axe scar, I have this little semicircle from the gun.
Don't continue
we-
that far
And
now.
we decided I would not go hunting.